Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Pearce?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you being here today. And they've kind of worked the inflation question over, but I would just make a comment. Roswell, New Mexico is in my district, and there are more people that believe the aliens landed in Roswell than believe inflation is 1.6%. With all respect, they're paying higher prices for gasoline and food, and I don't know exactly what they don't buy that's not inflating, but just earlier this week we got a report that drill pipe and heavy construction metal for the oil field is not available because people are so worried about what the future price is going to be that they're holding on to the supplies. So there are people out there who are being affected whether or not inflation shows on the books to be increasing. And I'm interested in your comment on page 3 that mortgages are difficult to obtain. Do you have any speculation why that might be?
Well, partly because the Fannie and Freddie have tightened up their standards, and more generally because lenders are quite uncertain about where house prices are going to go. They are still being very cautious after the mortgage debacle of the crisis. And so what we're seeing is that lenders are requiring unusually high down payments, high FICO scores, and so people without those qualifications are just not able to get mortgages.
I was just recently talking to a young couple that both just graduated from college and both have pretty good jobs and can't get financing, exactly the circumstance here. Mm-hmm. And when we talked to bankers, and we had a conference call with New Mexico bankers, and they said that the safety and soundness reviews were not problematic. It's the compliance reviews and things that used to simply get written up as exceptions now have a $50,000 potential fine with them. They said, why would we loan money on houses when a typographical error or when a failure to calculate the floodplain, which it's been since Noah's time in some of these mountainous areas of New Mexico that we've had flood insurance claims that we're paying for the people on the coastlines, with all due respect to the chairman and those guys. But so New Mexico flood insurance is not a big deal, except if you make one little mistake in it, you're going to get a $50,000 fine. Why would you loan money? So if you ever get a chance to talk to the people on the other side of the aisle over there, the regulators, you might hint to them that the compliance reviews are scaring the daylights out of people when used to they just got written up into a report. Looking forward to evaluate our ability to respond to crises, I like to look backward at the way that we responded to the crisis. And so who was actually in the kind of the pilot seat in this in the troubles in 2008? Was that the Treasury or was that the Fed?
Well, we cooperated. We both were part of it.
You would be familiar with the decisions. Who made the decision? Keep in mind that we bailed out Fannie and Freddie, we bailed out Bear Stearns, we let Lehman fail, and then 3 days later, we bailed out AIG. Who made the decision to let Lehman fail?
Well, I was not personally in that meeting. I was in Washington where these discussions were taking place in New York, but my belief and understanding was that it was not a decision, it was an inevitability, that we couldn't find any way to avoid the failure. If we could have, we would have.
It was inevitable for Bear Stearns to fail too. I mean, we had inevitability facing us. In fact, statements made in that period of time indicated Fannie and Freddie were really sound, and in fact, it was the variability, it was the ad hoc nature of the implementation of these things that caused great instability in the market on Wall Street. The price of stocks began to fall as people said, we can't trust that the government is going to be predictable in this, and we better be bailing out. And so I look at that time as a period of overreaction, underreaction, and unquestionable judgments. False statements were made, and I believe that it severely impacted the length and the depth of what was going on. You got any comments?
My comment is that if we had we did everything we could, given the limited tools we had, to prevent any collapses. We did find a way to solve the Bear Stearns problem. what I think Lehman demonstrated is that if we had allowed other firms to fail as well, that the entire financial system could have collapsed, and we would have seen a far worse recession than the one we had.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Time of the gentleman has expired.